Hi, I'm Julian Grimm, and wake me up inside. Today, we're gonna talk about widening guitars using only EQs. But first, let me explain why we're talking about widening guitars. In a punk rock mix or in a rock mix, usually when it's a mainstream song, the rhythm guitars are on the sides of your mix. That means that you record the rhythm guitars at least twice, 2 takes. One to come out only from the left side and another one to come out only from the right side. That allows the guitars in the mix to be strong and loud, but not mess with the vocals and the drums in the middle of your track. Usually the middle of the track is reserved for things that are the protagonists of your song. So the vocals or lead guitars, for example. Lead guitars usually are in the middle of your track. Vocals usually are in the middle of your track. But the rhythm guitars, they're more of a bass. They're part of the structure of your track. They're not the protagonist of your track. So they stay on the sides, and they have to be loud and heavy and strong, have their own little space where they can be and give all their might to your track without messing around with the protagonists. And that's why we make the guitars in the mix wide, just like your mom's ass. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say that. I love your mom's ass. No, sorry. I better stop now. I love your mom's. No, stop it. I know she loves mine as well. Okay, anyways, so to make the guitars wide, you have to apply multiple tricks from the beginning of your production. First, as I said before, you have to record the guitars twice, one for the left side, one for the right side. Another cool trick is to give a little bit of difference between both of the sides. Like, you don't want to make them too different because they're gonna sound like different guitars, and you still want them to sound like the same guitar blasting through different speakers. So like small little differences that make the guitars a little bit contrasting, because the more difference there is between the two sounds, more each ear of yours are gonna distinct them, and the wider they will sound. But you don't want to make them sound like separate things. So small tweaks. Maybe use different pickups in your guitar. Maybe change a little bit of the EQ on your amp, just a little bit, just to make them a little bit different. Maybe change the mic positioning on your amp. Leave the sound exactly the same, but change the mic or change the mic positioning. Just small tweaks to make them sound a little bit different. But once you're in the mix, you can still make them a little bit wider. And one of the easiest ways is just by using EQs. And that's what I'm gonna show you today. So this is what I recorded today. If you can guess which song I'm plagiarizing here, leave a comment below, and I'll give you a thumbs up and a big, big hug. So let's listen to the song. Cool, and that's it, and that just repeats because it's just an example. But as you can hear, the guitars are already sound wide. You can already listen that the guitars are on the sides of the mix, but you can make them go a little bit farther with this EQ trick. As I said before, I used some of my tricks when I recorded them. Specifically, I changed the amp EQ a little bit, and I changed the microphone that I used for each guitar. They sound similar, but they're not exactly the same. So now let's see how we can make them even wider. The first step is just grab the EQ here. Let's just grab the Ableton EQ. It's the simplest one to show you guys this trick. And put them in one of the guitars. So now sweep through the frequencies of this guitar and choose one that you like and raise it a little bit. So like this. So I like this frequency here. It's just a frequency that I think it's a little bit wonky, but it lends itself well to the aesthetic of this song. So I'll raise this frequency a little bit. And now the next step is very easy. You select the EQ, Command C or Control C to copy it, paste it in the other guitar. Do you see the frequency that you raised before on the other guitar? On this one, you're gonna lower it like this. And that already makes your guitars wider. Just listen to it. But to make it a little bit wider still, you can sweep around another frequency here. Choose another frequency from this guitar, raise it, and then lower in the other one. So let's do that. So I raised 3.6, around 3.6. So I go on this one. I change the curve. And let me just find 3.6. Around here should be fine. And I just lower this one. You might be asking yourself, is it really wider, the guitars? They're not technically wider, but they sound wider because they're more contrasting. between each other. I'll try to duplicate the tracks now, and so I can show you the difference between the guitars with no EQs and the guitars with the EQs. And that sounds wider to me. I know it's very subtle, but or maybe I'm just crazy. But I swear to God, guys, the guitars with the EQs are a bit more to the sides to my ears, and the guitars without the EQs are a little bit more to the center. I went a little bit heavy-handed with my EQs, but that's what I'm known for. Heavy hands and an addiction to sugar. But anyways, you guys can take your time, EQ the guitars the way that you like them, and still make the moves opposite on each guitar, so they contrast and they sound wider. I hope you guys like this trick. If you like what I do, press all the things that help me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!